sent me his resume, and it's just way too long. And I just left it there. So the biggest thing I know about Glenn is this is how I explain him to people I meet. This is Glenn Cleland. He's a professor at UNB, and he was given $1 million, and he's got it up to $6 million. Is that true?
Well, not to reckon, we're over 7 now, but it's okay.
Oh, okay. No,
So we're over 7 million now.
So that always impresses people. So I'm thinking, I can't say anything better than that. If you can make 7 times your money, like, can I invest with you?
Stay tuned.
So his speech today is Project 2 out of the humorous speaking book, and I don't think anyone else is even at this stage yet. You're the only one that I know of. So today he's supposed to tell us a story, and it's supposed to be a humorous part at the first and at the end. If I've read this correctly. It says prepare a speech that opens and closes with humorous stories. Prepare a closing story that re-emphasizes the speech's main point, and deliver the story smoothly and effectively. So we'll all listen and make sure that it does this for us. Right? And it's 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you.
Toastmasters and guests. By far the best professor I've ever had in university was Wild Bill Tillman. Wild Bill Tillman was about 6'4". He was a Texan, and he had the ultimate in Southern drawls, y'all. Okay, and he taught me 4th year accounting theory. Now, right away, accounting theory, how can you make accounting theory exciting? But he actually did, because you never knew what Wild Bill was going to talk about. In fact, I can remember one class where he was talking about accounting theory, and I was trying to swallow the yawns. It was a boring topic, and all of a sudden he starts talking about, of all things, his next door neighbor. Well, y'all, my next door neighbor, he's a farmer, he had a bad harvest. And he looked up to the skies and said, God, why me? And God looked down and said, well, sometimes you piss me off. What's that got to do with accounting theory? Where did that come from? We were always on the edge of our seat because we never knew what Wild Bill was going to talk about. His midterm exam was out of 1,000 marks, and he color-coded the damn thing. And I'll never forget when we got the exams back, the guy beside me got 25 marks on a question I didn't get correct. And did he answer it correctly? No, he just put a happy face. And because Wild Bill was actually marking the exam at 2 in the morning, that amused Wild Bill, so he gave him 25 marks. Now fast forward, I talked to my accounting graduates. We don't remember any of our professors, but we all remember Wild Bill. And the reason is because I think Wild Bill is an example of what I call an edutainer, where he educates you, but he does it in an entertaining way. He creates an environment that you want to actually learn in. And he also connects the theory with the real world. And so because of that experience, I created this program, or one of the things I try to do is create that kind of environment in our program. So now I do my shameless plug here. So yes, I created a program called the Student Investment Fund, where students get to invest in the capital markets. So the shameless plug is we're the first in the Atlantic region. With our $7.2 million that we now have, and that is real money, we're #1 in Canada, at least in terms of undergrads. And with the Chartered Financial Analyst designation, which is the gold standard in the investment business, now we're one of a kind in the world. Okay? Now, borrowing a little bit from Toastmasters, we don't have classes, we have meetings. We have 10 or 15 students around a boardroom table. I'm not a sage on the stage, I call myself the guide on the side. They ultimately make the decisions. That's why we call it the Student Investment Fund. This is for 4th year BBA students, 2nd year MBA students, although we've had engineers and we've had, you know, economists, even marketing types, although they don't seem to know numbers, but it's okay. And so we usually have 20 to 30 applications each year, of which we narrow it down to about 10 or 15. Then they basically, we give them a half-hour interview, and we give them an exam. Now, the exam, we use that to rank them, but almost everybody fails the exam, because the Chartered Financial Analyst designation, for every 5 that start the program, only 1 finishes. It's only 20% success rate. I'm not trying to be the biggest jerk around, but I'm trying to make sure that they realize how tough it is. Now, when they are accepted in March, let's see, classes begin in September. When does it begin? No, it begins in the summer. So Remit is actually coordinating with all the incoming students a valuation binder. So I'm trying to wreck their summer so they get ready for September. First semester, they're research analysts, and they follow some kind of sector. So if you're not aware or not, Remit graduated from the program. First semester, he followed the pipeline sector. And so you have to do 3 reports. The first report is an industry report. Second report is review existing bet, and the third report is how do you come up with your own idea. Second semester, they're portfolio managers. I mean, where did this money come from? Well, the money came from the public pension plan here, also from the endowment. So we have to go explain our performance to our clients. Then we do a detailed review economically, worldwide. Based on that, we determine what our interest rates are going to do, currencies. And then from that, we do a tactical asset allocation decision. Fancy name, do we go overweight stocks versus bonds? Then we do a bond decision. Then what we do is we kick them out of class, and we put them into different business competitions. So Remit was in 2 different competitions. He was in the CFA valuation competition and the small cap. And so we had 7 different competitions so they can see how they do against other schools. And then the final thing is the top 2 students, and this year it was actually 6 students, actually get to come down to see Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, and you heard a different presentation on that. Now what I found over the years though, I'm trying to create the environment like Wild Bill did. And so what I found is in the real world, 50% of the investments actually are acted upon. Well, everybody's so polite in the SIF program, they say, you know what, Jeremy's a smart guy. You know what, he did a great presentation, so it's got to be a good investment. Well, I now call myself the wise guy, W-H-Y''S. I'm the empirical skepticist. I'm curious, questioning, and skeptical. So the only thing you have to learn from this program, okay, after they do the presentation, what's the one question you have to answer?
What can go wrong?
What can go wrong? So the whole point is you have to understand the risks in the program. Now, another thing I took from a teacher that I really liked was taught me calculus in high school, was a teacher by the name of Mr. Turley. And what he did was he brought all math theories to life by explaining who the mathematician who did the different theories. And so at the front of our room, we have what I call the Investment Money Masters Wall of Fame. So you got the value investors on one side, Benjamin Graham. The other side, you've got a gentleman by the name of Philip Fisher who does the growth side. In the middle, you have Warren Buffett. Now, underneath that, you have what I call the Money Disasters Hall of Fame, which yours truly is pictured there. So I always joke that I owe my success to my second wife, my money to my first. The point is, you cannot preach to these students because they want to see some kind of humility. My big thing is I'm trying to be the mentor that I wish I had, so it didn't take me 9 years of my life to figure out that I wanted to be an equity portfolio manager. Now, last time, our local Don Rickles, who's not here today, Scott Keenan, introduced me. And I must admit, he used rateyourprofessor.com. Now, I don't know if resident you've looked at this. I mean, I haven't looked at it for 10 years. And you know, Scott always roasts me, right? And actually, he was quite kind. So I only have 5 here. One is, you know, very fast at teaching, hard to understand, slow him down. Well, that's what Scott talked about. Great prof, very crazy, super smart. Somebody, boys, I must have killed one student here because one student said this was one of the most disorganized classes. I got trashed. It was just hilarious, actually. But fellow Toastmasters and guests, my ultimate goal is to become an edutainer like Wild Bill Tillman, so it becomes the ultimate in academic experiences for my students. And too bad Scott's not here. Maybe that's why I won the Professor of the Year last year for the MBA.